What is up, you guys? This is JP here coming at you with another video. And this video is going to kind of go over the age-old question, the very annoying question, and I don't mean annoying to cover, I mean annoying that I keep hearing this, is should you go ass to grass during a squat or should you not go ass to grass during a squat? I'm going to abbreviate that ATG so I don't have to keep saying that over and over. But again, I constantly hear this in videos and gym talk. Should you go all the way down in a squat? And for those of you who don't know, ass to grass squats or ATG squats just means to go all the way down to where your hamstrings touch your calves, or however low until you physically cannot go any lower. Your body just won't let you go any lower. I am a big advocate, if you haven't been following this channel for a while or you haven't seen my past videos, I am a big advocate of just determining range of motion based on the individual. And some of you may say, well, everyone knows that. No, not everyone knows that, because there are plenty of people who say everyone should go ass to grass, which again, that's not going off the person's individual characteristics. You know, I don't think everyone should go ass to grass squats, and I'm going to explain why. Everyone's body structure is going to be a little bit different. That's just the fact, and everyone knows that. Their skeletal structure is going to be a little bit different. Some people are going to have longer femurs. Some people are going to have shorter femurs. Some people are going to have longer torsos, shorter torsos. Some people are going to have better dorsiflexion and range of motion in the ankle. There's so many little things, but the point is that everyone is going to be drastically different. Here's a clip of me doing a squat all the way down, ass to grass, ATG. I'm going to do a few reps for you here so you can see. Again, clearly I'm going ass to grass, but this squat looks like absolute shit. Now, some of you may say, well, did you do a good mobility routine? Did you stretch? I've done plenty of stretching routines before in my training, in the years of training. I've done plenty of mobility routines. I've been consistent with the stretching. There is nothing that I have that I could have done more. Well, let me rephrase that. There is nothing that I think that on top of what I had already been doing that would have let me go more. I'm telling you right now, there are certain components of our bodies, certain components that when you do a mobility routine, you can get more range of motion. That's why when you walk into the gym, you do a mobility, or you do your warm-up on the treadmill, your general warm-up, then you do your mobility routine, then you do your rehearsal sets, and then you do your working sets. When you go through all that, you get an increased range of motion from when you first walked in the gym. There are certain components of our bodies that changes from when we walk into the gym to when we start actually doing the workout. These things actually help increase our range of motion. They do. I'm not saying we can't increase our range of motion with good mobility routines and a good stretching. You can over the long term. And obviously with the mobility routine, it'd be in the short term. I definitely can increase my range of motion when I do that. If I don't do that, guess what I'm doing? I'm quarter squatting. But after my mobility routine, I'm not quarter squatting anymore. I'm able to get just past parallel with good form. But again, there are other components of our body. Let me actually cover some of the components too of the ones that change. For example, it's when you do a lot of repetition, your body sends synovial fluid to that joint to make it more lubricated. On top of that, you have our tendons and ligaments they have elastic components to them. They're able to, stretch a little bit and then come back to their original shape. That's the definition of elasticity. So those things make it so that we are able to increase our range of motion temporarily. And there's a lot of other things that go into it, but those are just a few. Then we have other components of our bodies that you cannot change. You cannot change. Like I said at the beginning, I can't change the length of my femur. There are certain bony structures in the ankle where you can't increase dorsiflexion range of motion. Now, you might be able to increase dorsiflexion range of motion, but that's due to other components, like the first components I said, doing a warm-up, getting that elastic component from your ligaments and tendons and the muscle tissue after you do a good warm-up. But the bony structure in your ankle, you're not going to be able to change. There's certain limitations where it's just bone on bone, or your joint just does not have that range of motion. For example, here is a definition of me doing a squat right here where it actually looks good. This is a good squat, but I'm not going all the way down. If you compare that to my original squats that I showed you earlier, and I'm going to show you here again, you can see side by side how when I go ass to grass, you start to see huge lumbar flexion. I get massive butt wink. I'm putting my low back in a very terrible position. I basically just topple over. There's nothing I can do. I've tried multiple foot stances, foot stance. You could try all types of things. There are some people that they just cannot go ass to grass, and it's due to these structures in their body that they cannot change. Again, everyone can improve their range of motion, but to some extent you can. From, again, have anyone do a couple squats with just the bar cold right when they walk in, and look at their range of motion, and usually they feel a little stiff too, but then have them do their general warm-up, the mobility warm-up, or their dynamic warm-up, then have them do their rehearsal sets, and then test their range of motion. And again, I guarantee you it's going to be more. So everyone can improve their range of motion. You can, but everyone also has a genetic limit to their range of motion. Now, for some people, they can go ass to grass with good form. That's perfect. These are the people with the longer torsos, the shorter femurs on top of that, good ankle dorsiflexion range of motion. And on top of that, they might be wearing squat shoes, which elevates their heel, which gives them more like kind of artificial dorsiflexion range of motion. All these things are going to play into it. High bar squat's going to benefit them a little bit more, especially if they're doing a front squat. They're going to be able to do that as well. So all these things play a factor. But again, not everyone should go ass to grass. You need to take this on a case-by-case basis. Test it yourself. You do all those things that I said before you do your working sets, and then watch yourself with the bar. Record yourself. Maybe do some stretches over a period of a couple weeks and months after your workout, not before your workout. Before your workout, it's just dynamic warm-up. Then see how you fare. If you cannot, with anything you do, get ass to grass, or when you do, it just looks like an absolute garbage squat, then you need to just rethink that your range of motion it's just not that large. You can't go ass to grass, and you shouldn't let anyone shame you. But at the same time, though, you shouldn't be cutting yourself to quarter squats. That's not what I'm saying, because I haven't met anyone in my life that can't go further than a quarter squat after a good warm-up, and doing the rehearsal sets. If you guys have any questions, comments, leave them down below. Again, just let's settle this, for good. If you have any friends that are pro ATG, have them watch this video. Again, just to kind of recap, some people can go ATG, some people can't. That's just how it is. There are certain things that you can change to help increase your range of motion. There are certain things you cannot change, obviously, and I talked about all those. If you guys have any questions, comments, please leave them down below. If you guys have any topics you want me to cover in future videos, leave those down below as well. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe, notification bell, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.